and welcome to this week's episode of Colonial Sports Center. I'm Greg Sutton, and alongside me, yet again, my companion, David Chemansky.
It's good to be here. Tonight, we've got a very special episode. We've got two interviews. Ryan Jacoby is going to sit down with two lacrosse players, and Malik Johnson is going to be sitting down with the rowing team who just got into the water to start their spring season. So we'll get to see how those teams are doing.
And those aren't the only special guests on tonight, David. I'm going to get to sit down a little bit later and talk to two of our analysts, Logan Carney and Luke Yost, and kind of see what their perspectives on the winter sports seasons were this past year.
And speaking of those winter sports teams, the men's basketball team grabbed headlines, not for great reasons. Two of their players have decided to transfer and will not be with the program anymore going forward. More about that later.
Yeah, and David, before we jump into that, with those two men's lacrosse players in the studio, I feel it's just right to jump right into that men's lacrosse that happened this past weekend. And the Colonials traveled down to Emmitsburg, Maryland to take on Mount St. Mary's. And the Colonials, they've been on a 4-game win streak lately, and they were hoping to be able to extend that win streak to 5 and bring home that win again before they played again at Joe Walton Stadium with their next game. Let's jump right down to Emmitsburg, Maryland. The first goal we're going to see here is by Adrian Torek-Orban. Next, we're going to see another goal. Adrian Torek-Orban, absolutely on fire this game, doing great things. Here we're going to get to see Matt Schmidt. He has 7-game point streak right now with 20 goals and 10 assists after this game. That's a total of his points and goals, assists, and everything else after this one. That last one was Connor Yepsen with the goal. Next, we're going to get to see Justin Mayfield work his way in. And now we're going to get to see a little bit of ball movement by the Colonials, really well, passing around the outside there, and a great shot there by James Skane. His first goal and also the first point of his career at Robert Morris as the Colonials, so congratulations to him. And once again, just great passing by the Colonials as Matt Schmidt puts in another goal. Next, we're going to see the Colonials on the opposite side of the field, Trey Arnold getting his goal there. And another goal by Matt Schmidt. He still leads the team in goals and total points for Robert Morris. That would be his third goal of the game. And then Adrian Torek-Orban with most goals scored in the game so far this season. Robert Morris was able to defeat Mount St. Mary's, winning 15-5 and stretching the win streak into 5 straight. Both Matt Schmidt and Adrian Torek-Orban were able to record a hat trick, being the only two Colonials able to score more than 1 goal in the game. Schmidt was also able to dish out 2 assists, giving him a total of 5 points on the night. Robert Morris is home again tomorrow against Bryant and will face off at 7 p.m. And if you look at the screen now, you're going to get to see those lacrosse standings, and Robert Morris doing an absolutely fantastic job sitting right there at 14th, David.
Yeah, I mean, phenomenal. They're ahead of some of those the bigger schools. I mean, they're ahead of Michigan, just behind Virginia, who is a lacrosse powerhouse. So pretty solid there in the standings.
And it's just great to see they've been playing really well this year with that 5-game win streak now intact, and we bring that home against the team. And they're going to be hoping to stretch that into 6 and continue on the amazing season they've been having so far, and hopefully they'll be able to do so and keep climbing that standings there, as you see. And sticking with the men's lacrosse team, we will now go down to Joe Walton Stadium, where our correspondent for men's lacrosse, Ryan Jacoby, was earlier to talk to a couple people and how they feel about their season so far.
Ryan Jacoby standing in the middle of the Joe Walton Stadium press box, where I am going to take you on an exclusive look of the status of the men's lacrosse season.
Obviously, it's a good feeling for us, but we're just focusing on just getting better every week. That's our main goal as a team, so we don't try to look at the outside distractions such as being ranked. So we're just looking forward to our next opponent this week to try and go out there and get a win. Team goals are to win the NEC regular season tournament and to host it, and then our final goal is to win the NEC conference. So those are our main goals finishing up the season. We're just going to have to go out there and play our game. We're not looking too much at what the other team's doing. If we go out there, play fast, play the way we want to play, we'll come out with a win.
Good. I think the guys have just, taken our message to really let our play just continue to be our focus and not get too caught up in that. So, I think they've handled it well and just really focused on what we need to do to be better each week. The thing is just stay consistent with what we've been doing. Obviously, we've had a lot of success recently, so trying to just keep the momentum going and continue to improve on both sides of the ball. The thing is just play our game. We want to play transition. We want to play fast. Not really focused on the pass. That has nothing to do with this upcoming game. So we've done our scouting report and going to make sure that we play the brand of ball that we want to play.
I am Ryan Jacoby reporting for RMU Century Media.
We'll have more on the men's lacrosse team later in the show, but the women's lacrosse team was back at Joe Walton Stadium this past Saturday against Louisville. The Cardinals have had a tough start to their season as have the Colonials. And this contest would prove to be important for both teams. Let's see if the Colonials could improve their non-conference record before Northeast Conference play. And they get started here, Greg, and I love it. The snow, you can see it piling up on the back of the field. It's been a tough spring, but right there was a phenomenal goal by Carrie Sayrafe to put the Colonials up 2-1 over the Cardinals here at home at Joe Walton Stadium.
Yeah, and that snow's been really playing a factor early in the season for both the men's and the women's lacrosse team. I remember that highlight a couple of weeks ago. We had just absolute whiteout down there at Joe Walton.
Yeah, in this first half, this was an action-packed first half. Both teams putting up a ton of points. As you see, the Colonials grabbing another one in the back of the net right there. But as we jump into the second half, Dana Davis is going to score this goal, and she was phenomenal for the Colonials in this game. The Colonials actually started to run away with this one. They're going to win the game only by a goal, but that is only because Louisville scored the last 4 goals of the game. So the Colonials were dominant for the majority of the second half.
And that's all I want to hear about our lacrosse teams here, Robert Morris, is just them being dominant the way they have been this season.
The Colonials improved their record at home with the 2-2 victory, with the 1-goal victory over the Cardinals. And this contest was great, and it was led by Dana Davis, who had 4 goals and 1 assist.
And after defeating the Louisville by 1 at home, the Colonials look to continue their recent success when they took on Power 5 opponent Ohio State in Columbus, Ohio. This is the 3rd time in program history that the Robert Morris Colonials would face off against a Power 5 opponent. The Colonials were looking to go into NEC play on a win streak and on a high note. The Colonials were defeated 7-3 by the Buckeyes at Jesse Owens Memorial Stadium. Carrie Sayrafe had 2 goals, and the other goal came from Shannon Lynch. Meanwhile, for Ohio State, Bailey Parrott netted 3 and recorded herself a hat trick. The 2 squads were equal when it came to the shot board, with both Robert Morris and Ohio State having 25 shots on net. Robert Morris will start conference play on April 6th against Wagner. And now let's take a look at that history against Power 5 opponents. It's quite a short one, but right now they are sitting as 1 win and 2 losses against Power 5 opponents.
Yeah, and you know, Robert Morris being a smaller school, that's a formidable record, and I only expect them to improve on that as the season goes on.
Yeah, and let's not waste any more time here, David. Let's send it over to our lacrosse correspondent, Ryan Giacobbe, sitting with 2 of our men's lacrosse players.
All right. Thank you, Greg and David. Yes, I am Ryan Giacobbe. I am sitting here with 2 RMU men's lacrosse players. We have Alex Hager and Tyson Gibson. Guys, thank you so much for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
All right. Now I'm going to ask you a quick question, and then we're going to throw it to a quick commercial break. So now, what I want to know is, how do you 2 feel about being part of a nationally ranked team in the NCAA?
Yeah, it feels great to be recognized for all the hard work we put in throughout the year. We try not to think about this throughout the year and just focus on getting better every day.
Yeah, basically what Tyson was saying. I mean, we try not to focus on rankings too much and just play our game, play our style of ball.
All right. Thank you, guys. And now we're going to toss it to a brief commercial break. But when we come back, I will be here continuing to ask some more questions to Alex and Tyson. So don't go away.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average 4-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Robert Morris is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
Welcome back. I am here with Alex and Tyson from the RMU men's lacrosse team. And now, to get started with the interview, the team has been on a 5-game winning streak so far, which is your longest streak since the 2012 season when you guys had a 6-game streak. What do you think is the key component that has been keeping your streak alive?
I think definitely it's been a lot of team play, a lot of team effort. We're winning the ground ball battles most of the games, and we're getting really good transition up and down the field, which is really our style of play.
All right.
Yeah, I think it just really has to do with consistency. Day in, day out, through practice games, no matter what it is, our team works hard and does our best just to be the best team out there. And consistency has just been a huge kind of factor that we tend to focus on throughout the year.
All right. The team last beat Bryant 13-12 back in the 2012 season, and you haven't beaten them since. What are you guys going to need to do this weekend in order to get the win?
The biggest thing is just stay true to ourselves. We like to play a fast-paced game, and we know what they're capable of. They're a very good team, well coached, and we just need to just be our best out there.
Yeah, I mean, our defense is going to have to play strong. We know they're a pretty solid offense. They like to slow the ball down, so we're going to have to, make them play into our advantages and play in fast transition.
All right, next question. Looking forward a little bit, how do you plan on handling Bryant if they manage to make the NEC tournament?
Probably, well, we're going to have to scout this game tomorrow, after we play them, and figure out, what we did wrong, what we did right, and then use that to our advantage as we go into the postseason.
Yeah, I think the biggest thing just going into the postseason is just continuing to get better. I mean, it's still only midway through the season. We got a lot to go. We got a lot of goals to accomplish, and our focus is just to get better every day, and then we'll worry about the playoffs when they come.
All right. Is there a common trend that has been helping you keep your team's success between the beginning of the season till now?
Again, just with consistency and hard work. I mean, we go morning lifts, practice, meetings, no matter what it is. We do our best to just give it all we have, even for the little things, because realistically, the little things are what count.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly what Tyson was saying. The consistency is the most important thing. I mean, keeping everything the same, making sure we go into every game week thinking the same thing, not worrying about the opponent, just playing our game, really.
Okay. So, okay, Alex, can you please describe your performance from this past weekend? We had season high 19 saves.
Yeah, I got to give a lot of credit to my defense. They set me up for some really good shots from the outside that the shots that I like to see. I mean, I'd rather face the ones from 15 yards than the ones from 5 or 6. So they set me up really well for a good game there.
All right, thank you guys. And now we're going to take it back to the desk with Greg and David.
Thanks for the interview, Ryan. Some people may say it's the off season for the men's basketball team, but having been here at school for 3 years, I know Hoops fans feel that this is transfer season. Yesterday it was announced that freshman guard Leandre Washington would be transferring, and today we learned that Deshaun Burke would be leaving the Colonials program. While Leandre is reportedly leaving because of a lack of playing time, Burke is leaving for what would appear to be a bigger opportunity. He was the Colonials' best player the last 2 seasons, and we wish him the best in wherever he ends up. It should be noted that we have seen some great success from Colonials transfers in recent years, and I would expect that to continue with Deshaun Burke. Pivoting from the court to the softball field, the women's softball team had a difficult start to their season, but a matchup with in-state rival Penn State meant that records were thrown out for the day. A doubleheader on the road for the Colonials gave them a great opportunity to turn the tides of their season. The girls started the day having a 7-3 lead heading into the 5th inning. That is when Penn State scored 6 runs in 1 inning to take the lead. But this 6-run inning was the last that Penn State would score for the rest of the day. Game 2 ended in a 5-0 shutout for the Colonials, who would split the series with Penn State 1-1 on the day.
And after that brief 20-minute break in between games, the Colonials took the field against the Nittany Lions again and were looking for a quick revenge and also to split the day with Penn State at Barrett Field in State College, Pennsylvania. The Colonials got their revenge on the Nittany Lions by shutting out Penn State 5-0. Taryn Miller had quite the game as she stole home, drove in 2 runs with her single in the 3rd inning, and finished the night 2 for 3 at the plate. Starting pitcher Caitlin Elzy got her 3rd win of the season. The Colonials' first NEC matchup against St. Francis for tomorrow was postponed until Saturday, May 5th.
And when we come back, Malik Johnson's going to sit down with 3 girls from the rowing team.
And whenever we come back also, David, I'll get to sit down with Luke Yost and Logan Carney, so you're not going to want to miss it.
Hot ashes are about to be dumped, which could possibly start a wildfire. How will Smokey deal with such a hot situation? The garden hose defense. Next, a thorough stir. Then another spray. And finally, feeling if the ashes are cool.
Oh, yeah.
Ah, yes, the selfie. A ritual practiced so frequently with this tribe, but not so much by Smokey Bear.
Only you can prevent wildfires.
They call me Prince like I'm royalty or something. But the places I've lived ain't no palaces. So I don't need grilled salmon or a new scratching post. Just give me a cardboard box and a can of tuna and we're good. You can even change my name. I'm cool being the kitty formerly known as Prince.
They told me a bottle couldn't dream. That I would never become a superhero. But I learned how to fly. Just to come back in a new disguise. And be the hero that I've always wanted to be.
If you don't fix them, sparks from dragging tow chains could cause a wildfire, and that could be scary. Smokey! Only you can prevent wildfires.
And welcome back to Colonial Sports Center. I'm Greg Sutton. Alongside me right now, I have Luke Yost and Logan Carney, 2 of our winter sports analysts. And guys, why don't we jump right into it? You guys have graded the winter sports so far, and we're going to start off with the men's basketball. Luke, what'd you give them?
I gave them a B. I think as far as the regular season was concerned, they improved from last year, but they still couldn't get over the hump in the playoffs. So I gave them a B. I think they should have been better, but they weren't.
I gave them a B minus. I think both of our grades are a little bit generous, but going with what Luke said, you know, that they were they played better than how they were last year. ESPN had them as the 321st rated team going into this season, and they had a chance, you know, midway through the year they were first place in the conference. So I think they ended up being a lot better than how we expected them.
All right, so sticking with the basketball theme, why don't we jump to the women's basketball? And Logan, I'll let you start it off this time.
I gave them an A. The women's basketball team had a phenomenal season and then a conference regular season victory. But of course, the only way to get an A+ is if you win the conference and the tournament. But you know, they were women's and men's basketball were the only 2 teams in the winter sports to improve their records in the last year. But women's improved it by 3 wins, and men's, you know, slightly improved it. But that's why I think it was better.
Yeah, I gave them an A- because I thought that they played St. Francis twice in the regular season. They split that. I thought that championship game they had a chance. They should have won, but they didn't. So they got docked a couple points.
All right, and so as I like to say, from the hardwood to the ice, let's jump into the women's hockey part of it.
I gave them a B+. I thought that, you know, their 21-8-4 record was really good, but they still couldn't beat Mercyhurst when it counted. So they got a B+ from me. You know, Logan, how do you feel about that?
Exact same thing, B+. Phenomenal regular season, but they didn't make, you know, the deep run into the playoffs like the men's hockey team did or the women's basketball team did that, you know, would have, I think, catapulted them to an A. But I gave them B+. You know, they had a little bit worse of a regular season, but they still played phenomenal. They were ranked for a large portion of the year. A great regular season, but unfortunately they did not win where, as Luke said, they didn't win when it counted.
And the last thing we're here to talk about, guys, the men's hockey team. They did pretty well, in my opinion. What did you guys rank them at?
Now,
you gonna go first?
I'll go first in this one. Thanks, Luke. Now, I'm a little bit of a critical of the men's hockey team this year. I gave them a B-. I thought this was the tough one for me because the regular season was not nearly as good as it should have been, as it has been in years past. In fact, they had a losing record this year after going 22-12-4 the year before. That's why I gave them a B-. But then, they also made it to the championship. So maybe I could have been a little bit more generous and gave them a B+. I thought real hard with that, but I ended up settling that, when I looked at the overall season, I thought they disappointed this year.
I gave them an A-. I thought that during the regular season, they did disappoint, Logan. They were supposed to be a really good team, high rated, coming into the year. That then they just kind of tailed off. They started to fire up back towards the conference or playoffs, but they just couldn't finish it.
All right, guys, I really appreciate you coming in, taking time out of your busy schedules. And David, we're going to toss it back over to you on the desk.
Pretty fair grade for the winter sports, but now we're in spring. The Colonials rowing team started their season with the Oakwan Sprints in Virginia. Highlighting the meet for the team was the Novice 8+, which claimed gold, beating Virginia, Commonwealth, James Madison, and Richmond. And now we're going to have Malik Johnson, who's going to be sitting down with a few members of the rowing team. And we're going to get to hear about their experience so far this spring and what they expect going forward heading into the MAC Championship.
Thanks, David. I'm here with Rachel, Emily, Emma, and Allison.
Thank you for having us. Good. How are you?
Yeah. So you guys are all new. You guys all just walked on. So what's it like rowing?
It's a little surreal, I guess you could say. Especially when everybody's doing everything together. You just feel like you're gliding, and it's amazing.
It's a lot of fun. You have like a really good support system, especially being a freshman coming on. You have all these really strong, powerful women who are there to help you out.
Definitely covered everything.
All right. So what about the rowing team made you guys join?
They just confronted us all at the same time. Like everywhere we went, the rowing people were recruiting people to join the team because they wanted new freshmen for the novice team, and everyone was just so friendly, and it was a lot of fun. They had a trial period, and that's when we really chose to do it because you got to see how everything was. It was a lot of fun.
All right, so I know you guys practiced really early. What was it like, having to wake up at 5 a.m.?
Oh, it was such a struggle.
During the trial period.
Yeah, it was very hard to make that switch. You have to really go to bed early, and if your friends want to hang out, you gotta sometimes say no, but you get used to it after a little bit.
So what's it like being in the boat together? That's definitely something that takes a lot of being in sync. What's that like?
Definitely.
You definitely have to have a lot of trust between each other because you have to believe that everybody's going to be with you.
Yeah, I'm in the front of the boat, so I can't see anybody, so I have to just trust that everybody behind me is pulling just as hard as I am.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so you guys were walk-ons. Is it normal for athletes to recruit for rowing? Do you guys know what it's?
We have a couple of recruits on the team, but
a lot of high schools just don't have rowing, so I know a lot of colleges will have novice programs because there's a lot of strong people who just didn't get the opportunity. So they'll have this chance for kids to try out and see if they like it.
I know that's something you guys walked on. Is that something that college kids typically look for in a college? Does a rower say, I want to go to a school that has a really good rowing program?
It depends.
It especially helps if you rowed in high school. I know none of us did, so it was completely new for all of us. So.
Okay, yeah, let's talk about the race you guys just had. You guys just came back from.
Yeah.
What was it like winning gold?
Oh my goodness,
fantastic!
It was so great. This was my first race because I didn't get to race in the fall, and this was all of our first sprint race, so it was just a shorter race, and we had all been really excited and fired up. But we knew that we had to control that energy.
Had to stay focused.
Yeah, because if you get too excited, you're not going to row as well. So we just got into our zone and we just did everything that we had practiced, and it was just a lot of fun too.
Just keeping it all bottled up until you just crossed that finish line, and all of us just screamed out because we knew that we got it.
All right, and Rachel, you were also in +4 race and you guys won the silver. What was it like? 2 races, 2 medals.
It was a lot because I was a little bit nervous that I wouldn't be able to keep my energy up, but I knew I had the 3 other people in the boat to push me through. So you just had to go all the way through, and like I had this extra energy because I knew the other people hadn't raced. So I was like, I'm going to beat them with even having less energy. So yeah.
All right. Well, thank you guys for coming on.
Thank you.
So when we come back, we're going to throw to a quick break, and when we come back, David and Greg are going to give you guys the upcoming games.
They call me Maxie, but I prefer tripod. I was your above-average four-legged homie, and then wham, bam, minivan. Some people pity me. Now that's lame. I still run, fetch, and swim. And the ladies love me. I'm the ultimate wingman. Just don't ask me to high five.
Here at Robert Morris University, we pride ourselves at the experience that our students gain while they're actively learning in the classroom. Some even come back to share that knowledge with new students.
I never dreamed that I'd be back here. I'm having so much fun. I'm doing a lot of what I was trained to do and what I went to school for.
The Colonial Sports Network is a great opportunity for students to learn real job skills in sports programming.
To be able to see what the students want to make of it, because it can be anything that they want.
I love being here, seeing students, seeing myself in the students that work with me, and I'm really blessed to have so much talent to work with. It's really amazing.
To be able to see students become successful after Upper Point is really cool.
Join the Colonial Sports Network team and expand your future today.
Hey, let's check out this park. Oh, wow, that's really cool.
To find a great local park or forest near you, go to discovertheforest.org.
We've got Greg's favorite part of the week, upcoming games.
Yeah, and David, this is always my favorite part because I get to see what everybody's doing this upcoming weekend, but we also get to see what the matchup's going to look like. And like I said earlier, the women's softball team was supposed to have that first game this weekend against St. Francis, but that was postponed until May 6th. But I'm really excited about this men's lacrosse matchup versus Bryant tomorrow.
The thing you can't forget, on Easter, the men's golf team is going to tee it up over at Lehigh, and unfortunately, I'm not going to be traveling with the team this weekend. We've got some other guys that are going to get some opportunities this week, so I'm excited to see how they play. I know the weather is not great, so maybe I'm lucking out, but that's going to be pretty exciting to see how the team does at the second event this spring.
Yeah, and especially from an outside looking in from me, it's going to be cool to kind of see how they perform without somebody that I know. And David, why don't you toss it to the next one of the last segments we have?
Right, we're going to get to see the week that was in Colonial sports.
Shining the score.
And the show tonight had to get everyone excited for the spring sports. I mean, if it wasn't the interviews with the lacrosse team and the rowing team and the week that was, then I don't know what will get you excited for Colonial spring sports.
Especially that amazing video Matt Simkovic puts together every week with all those highlights and a couple of those audio clips. But unfortunately, David, we're out of time tonight. And for everybody here in studio, we'd like to thank you and wish you all a happy summer, or happy Easter.